You're listening to the Secure Dad Podcast. Discover ways to protect yourself and your family at home, in public, and online. Welcome, friend. I'm Andy Murphy, the creator of The Secure Dad. This podcast serves to help people become proactive in their safety. The information I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only. My goal is to empower you to make safer decisions for yourself and your family, because our safety is our own responsibility. Today I'm going to share with you 3 different elements that we can use to spot a scam. You can apply this to, honestly, really most sketchy things that you encounter in your life to see if somebody's trying to take advantage of you. All of that and more ahead on the Secure Dad Podcast. When I read about data breaches and how companies are selling and buying our private data, it feels overwhelming. Back in 2018, I saw the future of data brokerage and I realized that I needed to do something. I needed to take action to protect my personal information because it was being sold like never before. That's when I did my research and I joined Delete Me. Delete Me makes it very easy to get started. Once you join, there are a few forms to fill out that will help them search for and find your data being sold online. Then after a few days, you get your first privacy report. They start that fast. Over the past 6 years, I've seen my data deleted from sketchy people search sites. It feels good to know that I am working to protect my digital identity. Once you join, like me, you'll start to see results quickly. See why I find Delete Me essential to my privacy at joindeleteme.com/dad and use promo code DAD to get 20% off a privacy plan today. Delete Me is a sponsor of the Secure Dad Podcast. You've heard me talk about how much I like FlipLock. In less than a second, I can activate it and protect my front door with a device rated for 1,600 pounds of force. The all-metal construction is strong, functional, and looks great on the door. It doesn't look out of place at all. But did you know that FlipLock also has a solution for school classrooms? Anna Rieger, the founder, is a strong advocate for school security and created a version of the lock that works in the classroom. The school lock can withstand more than 3,000 pounds of force and can be used by kids and teachers alike. For more on the device, go to fliplock.com and click on School Safety. FlipLock can protect your family at home and in the classroom. So if you want to take your home and classroom security to the next level, head over to fliplock.com and use the discount code SECUREDAD to get 20% off your entire order. I protect my home with FlipLock, and you can too. I want to remind you of something that I shared a few years ago on this show. I was in my local Walgreens when there was a stressed out woman on her phone. She was talking with 2 employees about trying to get a very specific type of gift card, and she was very confused about it. After kind of keeping tabs on what was going on, she said something odd that I overheard that was a red flag for me. She said to the person on the phone, "You want me to keep the phone in my hand?" Her stress, the questions about the gift card, and being told not to hang up or put the phone down led me to believe that she was the target of a gift card scam. Now, I talked with the store manager, and I even approached this woman to help, and I fully admit I didn't approach her correctly, and she ended up buying the gift card. Everybody in that store wanted her to listen to me, and she didn't. I admit it bothers me to this day that I couldn't help her make sense of what was going on. I bring that up to say that people involved in a scam don't always realize they're in a scam. To them, things are making a logical progression. They are doing what makes sense to them in the scenario that they're given. And you always have to remember that the target of a scam is usually going up against a team of experienced scammers. So this is not a fair fight at all. Chances are these scammers have run this 100, 200, 1,000 times before, and they've perfected it, and they know how to play to people's stress, and that's what gets them their goal. So we're going to talk about scams and what we can do to spot them. But first, let's discuss what a scam is so we can see how it works, and it's going to give us a better understanding of how to keep ourselves safe. At its core, a scam or fraud is a false statement presented as fact with an intent to deceive, and the victim's reliance on that false statement and the resulting damages. Basically, somebody lies to you, separates you from a possession or information, and then does not deliver on what they promised. And of course, they're not going to make up for it either. The first way to spot a scam is that you have been contacted out of the blue. That means you get a phone call that a loved one is in jail in Mexico. You won a contest that you don't remember entering. A text pops up about shipping information from UPS when you haven't ordered anything that would come from UPS. Maybe a relative that you don't remember left you a haunted house in their will, and you have to spend the night in it to claim it. These are all things that could happen, but most likely won't. Except for the haunted house thing, that probably won't happen. I think that's a movie plot. That's the crux of the scam, though, to present you with something that seems plausible and makes you curious to try it. Humans are naturally curious, and we want to see what happens next, so this is a natural trap for us. And the scammers know it. A recent scam shows us how this works. The Better Business Bureau released a report on how people 18 to 24 were losing more money per instance to scammers than anybody else in America. This was because of rampant scams on job search sites. And I mean legitimate sites like ZipRecruiter, Indeed, and even LinkedIn. On these job sites, people are looking for jobs or at least interested in getting another one. So the offer of a job that they didn't apply for seems to kind of fit here. This can create a sense of excitement and hope for a job seeker, and this is especially true for positions that are work from home. And some scammers can get away with personal information or money without the job seeker even thinking that anything is off. The second red flag to look for is that an unknown person or a recent acquaintance is going to ask for something valuable that you have. Of course, the first thing we think about is money. Is that they're going to try to separate me from my money or get my bank account number, that sort of thing. You know, we saw this in the pig butchering scam. But what's of value to a scammer may not be money. It may be your information, or it might be information that you can provide. Perhaps a scammer has gathered your full name, address, and phone number and is posing as an agent of the court. This is a popular one. They call you up and they're saying that there's a bench warrant out for your arrest because you failed to show up for jury duty. The scammer already knows your information and they want to get you out of trouble on the phone, so they need your social security number to complete a form to wipe your slate clean. And who, after hearing that there's a bench warrant out for them, wouldn't want to settle this as quickly as possible? Since the scam seems probable and they had a lot of your data already, it seems like the next logical step to provide your social security number. After all, this is an agent of the court. They are from the government, right? So you have to think beyond cash, gift cards, and bank account routing numbers and credit cards. Sometimes your data is what scammers want. If they have your real information, then it's much easier to pose as you to open up a new bank account, a new utility account, or a new line of credit. They just want to be you. By the way, scammers can buy a lot of your personal data from data brokers, and it's legal for them to buy it. It's illegal to use it in a scam, but they can still buy it legally. And this is why I feel that Delete Me is so important. They remove that information from data brokers, and that can decrease your chances that you're going to be targeted in the first place. So the third red flag that we can look for is going to be the big ask. The scammer will need to complete their trap by extracting the money or the data from you. To avoid getting caught, they're going to get you to do something that you most likely don't do often, like provide your banking account router information over the phone. Maybe it's like the lady at Walgreens that they want you to put $5,000 on a Visa gift card and then read them the numbers off the card in the parking lot. Or as our friends Gonzalo and Pablo shared with us in talking about these phone scams that are happening in Mexico, there might actually be somebody waiting outside your home to collect the money. At some point in the process, you'll be asked to do something that feels odd. Keep in mind the government doesn't want you to pay a fine with a Target gift card. Your local police department doesn't need your bank account routing number. And no, nobody from Nigeria knows your name, let alone a prince. By the way, I recently learned that the Nigerian prince email scam actually started as snail mail. People would receive a letter in the mail with the same story, And it worked so well in the actual physical mail that they bumped it up to email, and now it's probably a text scam and all that sort of stuff. So I guess it was just a natural progression. So when you look for the big ask, you've got to question, what does this person want? Why are they asking me to collect it in this way? And is this something that I'm comfortable doing? And I feel, and this is just my personal thought, I feel like a lot of people get this inkling in the back of their mind at this point in the scam that something might be wrong. And then they push that little voice down. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want to hear it. They start just thinking about all the things that were right and how they did feel good. And they're just trying to justify where they are in the process. But if that little voice inside you says, hey, something's off here, it's okay to take a time out and to investigate what's going on. Call a friend, call a family member and say, hey, I got this thing going on here. Does this sound right to you? And you might be a little embarrassed about that, but gosh, you will be so much less embarrassed to make that call than to realize that you have been taken for $10,000. So trust me, listen to that little voice inside you when you start to realize that this is not right. So as we wrap up, I want you to realize that no one is immune to a scam. Not even me, not you for listening to this. If you find that you've been a victim of one, please do not be embarrassed about getting help. Do not be embarrassed to pick up the phone and call your local police department or call a friend to help you sort everything out. The worst thing that you can do is keep this a secret and not seek help from law enforcement. You may think that nothing can be done, but honestly, you would really be surprised. There may be a detective who's sitting there looking at 5 different pieces of the puzzle, and you're that magic 6th piece that's going to make everything work. Each piece leads to a case being made and hopefully a scammer being arrested and your stolen goods being restored. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Secure Dad Podcast. Thank you, friend, for joining me. Take back your privacy and your personal data with help from Delete Me. Get 20% off our privacy plan when using the code DAD at checkout. There's a link in today's show notes to help you get started. Fortify your home with FlipLock. For more, go to fliplok.com and use discount code SecureDad to get 20% off your entire order. If you'd like for your child to have a smartphone but not access to the whole internet, consider a TrueMe wireless phone. My family uses one all the time. Use code TheSecureDad at checkout for $50 off a phone of your choice. For more from the Secure Dad, consider subscribing to the official Secure Dad YouTube channel. There you can watch all of my interviews and find exclusive content. Just search for The Secure Dad the next time you're on YouTube. I'm Andy Murphy reminding you that our safety is our own responsibility.